you're actually saying it to him. Like, hey, man.
That's what I'm doing. I'm not. Oh God, it's like dancing. I can't.
All right, there you go. Ready? Here you go.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in.
You are watching Van Gogh Travelers.
Hey guys, welcome to Van Gogh Travelers. We are having conversations on the road, and today we are having a conversation with my nephew Eddie and his wife Athena. Hello guys. We are talking about what it's like being a married couple in the military, and I really find that interesting because I'm all about being patriotic and also about the veterans and people that are in the military, which I think has throughout the years has gotten neglected. And I really think that we should really be talking a little bit more about it and trying to understand what it's like to be in the military. And I know you guys move around a lot, so that's also entails a lot of things that you have to do. And, you know, it's not always easy. So we want to be able to chat about that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of mystery and maybe even some misconceptions out there. So it would be really interesting to, hear your perspective as the people who are living that. But before we get into any of the questions and the actual conversation, let's have a toast. Thank you so much
Cheers, guys.
for allowing us into your home.
Thank you.
Yes.
Spending some time with you and then sitting down just to have a little chat with us. We really appreciate it and we love you guys.
Yeah, we love you guys too, and thank you so much for coming. We really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you. These visits are the best parts of our trip. So great way to spend a Sunday afternoon.
And definitely, we've enjoyed being here, and just thanks for having us in your home as we cross America.
Thank you for coming.
So Eddie, question would be for you to start it off with. What really made you want to go into the military, and what age were you thinking that, this might be a career move for you, and this is what you wanted to do?
I think it's more so started with. It's a culmination of a lot of things. My mom's side, there's a lot of family members in the military, and my dad's side, he kind of introduced me to movies. Star Wars being the biggest one, but other military movies or movies with military in them. So it's kind of a combination of both. My mom's side, she out of all the grandchildren, I was the only one to carry on the torch of the military. Until recently, one of my other family members had joined the military, but at the time I was the only one. And then on my dad's side, or at least for him, he always said I was Luke Skywalker looking at the two suns, and I kind of agreed with him just because I've always wanted adventure. I hated staying in the house, and I just always felt like that's where my life was going.
Well, I remember him making a small movie with you in it, right? You were what's the character that you were playing?
I don't even know.
Hopefully, I can get a little clip of that and put it on this video.
Yeah, I don't even know. YouTube has it. I can tell you that. I mean, you can look it up.
Should we put a link in the description below the video?
You probably could, honestly. I was very little. It was a home movie kind of thing. I know my dad added special effects down the road, but at the time it was very.
I think we saw that video, and
we
I
did.
thought it
I
was
telling
very,
Eddie the
very
other
cool.
day.
Yeah, I thought it was very cool.
It was very cool.
It was actually really funny because people at his job found it not too long ago.
Dad was telling me.
Yeah.
powers are strong. You are not a Jedi yet. You underestimate the power of the Force.
50 minutes of fame for that.
Well, your dad is really inspired by all those sci-fi movies, and Star Wars is probably one of the biggest ones. As many, because you guys go to Dragon Con a lot, right?
No, yeah, like I wish I could go more, but the military has unfortunately stopped me from going to many conventions.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it keeps you busy for sure. I mean, just being here, I see you in and out at times, and having to go to work and do that stuff. I mean, it's kind of the normal that anybody else would be doing, but except it's in the military.
Mm-hmm.
So how many years did you think about at first enlisting for? What was the initial enlistment on that? How many years?
At first, it was the basic is about 3 years,
3 years.
4 years. Yeah, is your average first enlistment.
Now, how long are you in the military now?
August 2nd was my 8-year mark, so it should have been yesterday, I want to say.
Wow.
That's great. Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not only
And
that.
thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that. Thank you. For your service, and I think that's really been left behind in years, because I don't think a lot has been focused on the military. And for me, I've never been in the military, but I'm very patriotic. I love this country, and I think the veterans and the people in the military have been neglected. And I see now there's more of a movement to really come out and really understand and appreciate what you guys do. Because if it wasn't for what you guys are doing, and we'll get into that, because I know you've been to Afghanistan, but if it wasn't for what you guys are doing and willing to do, to go out there and protect this country, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing today.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So for that, thank you, and we definitely appreciate your service, man.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I know too, your mom and dad, and I'm sure your entire family, but we've been spending a lot of time with your mom and dad lately, and they're so proud of you, both of you, for what you do. So it's really nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as far as being in the military, we got a little glimpse of that yesterday. Tell me exactly what your job is.
So exactly, it changes throughout the years, or I wouldn't say throughout the years, but my job is a combat engineer. My main job is, I guess, there's 3 portions of the job: mobility, counter mobility, and survivability, which entails everything in my job. Mobility meaning we clear the way for any troops, or if it's logistics for the military. Our job is to make sure nothing is stopping them from moving, so IEDs or even obstacles. Counter mobility, so if the enemy is coming towards us, we know how to, different kind of explosives, different obstacles to make to stop them or even slow them down. And then survivability, meaning know how to, we basically set up defenses. A lot of times when we first came to, or when they first deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq, it was the combat engineers that would deploy to help build up the FOBs, or the forward operating bases that were out there.
Now, you were operating what machinery?
It's a little bit of everything. When I did deploy to Afghanistan, it was they were called Buffaloes and Huskies. Basically, vehicles designed to detect and to dig into the ground to find an IED.
Yeah. Well, you were showing me some pictures, and sometimes you don't really have an idea. Like people can talk about, well, I was overseas in Afghanistan, and they can talk about things, and you really don't have any idea exactly what it's like when you guys were actually there. What did you feel like when you were going to Afghanistan and doing a tour? What were your feelings? What were you feeling? Were you nervous about it?
Oh yeah, a lot of it was nerves, because who knows what to expect,
Right.
My first duty station was White Sands Missile Range, so when I got there, they said within a couple months we were supposed to deploy to Afghanistan, and they were saying, it looks just like here, you know. And lo and behold, when we actually got to Afghanistan, it looked like New Mexico, you know. It was weird, but it did.
Almost looks like you're in another planet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's nothing really
Looking
out
at
there.
those pictures.
Hmm. Nothing out there. It's you know, definitely a culture shock, you know, to see how people on the other side of the country, you know, that don't have the basic amenities, you know, how they live, you know. It's definitely a culture shock about it.
Well, that definitely has to be hard being so far away. I know when we go places, you almost feel like you miss home. I can't imagine being all the way there and having to do what you have to do and not miss people back at home, your wife, your family.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, during that time, and we've always were thinking about you because it was a very dangerous place that you were in. I mean, even today is still very dangerous. But you have friends that didn't make it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, we out of most deployments, it was very. I guess we got lucky. You know, I guess if you want to call it lucky, we only had one. We only had one person to actually not come back. You know, most deployments are definitely different. We went during the winter months, so of course the winter months over there it does snow. You know, it does get cold in the desert.
Yeah, that's what I found very interesting because
Wow.
you were showing me snow.
So you would never think that. You just think dry,
Snow.
heat,
Right.
desert, rocks.
So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. You know, like during that time of year or that end of the year, or that portion of the year, you know, you don't want to be out in the cold. They don't either. You know what I mean? So it definitely slows down when it comes to actually contact with the enemy.
Well, the sad thing that we were having conversations yesterday, and the person that didn't make it back. You want to talk a little bit about that because it was kind of interesting that he was there for almost till the end, right? And then what happened?
It was about, you know, we were a couple weeks from coming back home. Towards the end, and it was you know, towards the end of your deployment, you know, you start to get all excited because the whole deployment's been good. Nothing's happened. Half the unit went to one of the bigger fobs, so we only left about max of maybe 15 people stayed behind. The max to 15 people, and they were just do a changeover, you know, to show the new people coming in, you know, the ropes and what's going on. And just so happens that it was the last mission that they were supposed to go on, that we were supposed to go on, and it was just the NCOs or the sergeants that were going on the mission. Yeah, they left that morning, you know, just like any other morning. You know, they left with them. Remember the day clearly. It's March 22nd, 2013, around 12, 2 o'clock, anywhere between there, because I remember it was after we got lunch. It was a rainy day, or it was a drizzly day over there, and that's when we got word that their bow clearance unit got hit. It was one of our guys that got hit, and we didn't know who. Still, where they were still trying to figure out, you know, get all the information.
What happened? Yeah.
And found out he got hit by an IED. And so supposedly, he didn't, like, he wasn't breathing. He was dead on sight. It took a while for the helicopter to get there, just because the air was black, meaning that if the air is black, it usually means high winds, sandstorms, anything like that, so helicopters can't fly. So it took a while for the helicopter to get there. They even said when they got him on the helicopter, the flight medics said that, you know, he didn't have a pulse or anything like that, but they didn't want to give a for sure, you know, he's a goner until, you know.
And you were saying that it was like 2 weeks before he came back home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's devastating when you really think about someone that's over there and ready to come back home, and then all of a sudden you're dealt with a bad draw.
A lot of my friends that were a lot closer to him, they definitely when we got back, it was hard. That's what I met her when we came back. And she can even attest to it that a lot of my friends, they even when we came back, they were like devastated. Any kind of memory or like, the military brings out the. I hate to say it, but people that don't drink or that are not big drinkers, they usually become drinkers, especially after deploying.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot to see, a lot to face.
Yeah.
So when you went into the military, you had just met before then?
No. He deployed to Afghanistan, came back, and we met 6 days later.
Whether this was a real call or not, I don't know. But he made a call, and they said, "Oh, okay." So he got off the phone. He get off the phone and said, "Well, we have combat engineer," and I was like, "What's that?" And he showed me the high speed video and everything. And at the time, it's like a lot of inexperience, and naive. Me being naive, but I was like, I'm looking for something that's not necessarily in the front lines,
Right.
but I don't want to be like. A paper pusher kind of thing. Combat engineer, you're not on the front lines and anything. So I was like, okay, when would I leave? 2 weeks from now. Sign me up. So, that's how I became a combat engineer.
And as soon as you got in,
Lo and behold, as soon as I get in the basic, the drill sergeant said, "What do you think you do?" And obviously everyone said, "Oh, we do this." The basic description on the Army website of what we do in the video. And,
so you were telling them, I make pizzas, and they try to look at that and say, well where can we fit them in?
Where does that translate?
They basically showed us a real video, like what you do, at least at the time, because we were still in Afghanistan, and, the war on terror was still going on. Yeah. And he showed us a video. It was in ISIS. They create videos or the Taliban at the time, they create videos to propaganda for them. Of them ambushing, American troops, and they showed her. I never forget this video, and I can never find it online anymore. But it was a route clearance unit going on the side, going on a trail on the side of a mountain, and the Taliban, they're videotaping us walking or them walking through, and then an IED goes off on the side of the mountain, and hitting one of the vehicles, and then all you see is like machine gun fire. You hear rockets go off, hit near them and everything. Wow. I still remember I was still watching that video.
Second guessing.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, have you ever felt at any point like, oh my God, what did I get myself into, or I made a huge mistake? Like,
that was that moment. That moment was. I thought to I called my mom, and I remember calling them when we had the chance, and I was nervous. I was scared at that point. So I was like, man, am I going to survive these next 3 years?
So at that point, were you able to still get out, or you were committed?
I mean, I could get out, but I would have to fail out of basic training. Yeah. And for me, go telling people, I'm joining the military. Going, and then I think it was a more humiliating. It'd be for me, like my pride.
Yeah.
Going back, I couldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially being that young, that's what you end up feeling. Mm-hmm. We're going to go ahead and take a break here, but also we're going to show some footage of some of the military gear that Gina's going to try on, I'm going to try on, and we're going to kind of feel what it's like to have a backpack or to put on a vest. So,
be in his boots.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
So we'll take a break and we'll come back. Eddie's going to show us some of the military gear that he uses on the daily basis, and we're just going to go through a couple of them. And Gina's going to try some, and I'm going to try some as well, and we'll see what that feels like. So, Eddie, what do you have on this one here? What is that?
This is something that the military is eventually going to start handing out to newer or to the rest of the Army. This is the newer version of what we usually wear. So what the regular Army wears now is these. They wear these, or well, not the regular Army, but as of right now, the Army as a whole wears these. For these, right now, the combat branches or the combat MOSs are the ones that can issue these. But eventually, everyone's going to get issued these down the road. So with these, you have a front plate, back plate, and you have your two side plates or kidney plates here and here to protect your against your kidneys.
All right, so let's go ahead and try this one here and put it on Gina and see what that feels like.
All right, so this will be the easier way to do it. These mostly have clips, so to make it easier, instead of going over your head. Like I said, it's mostly with clips, so all you got to do is clip it into where it goes. There are straps on the side here, so when you need to. That.
Ooh, I feel like I have armor on.
That looks like it could be a little heavy there. What does that feel like?
Definitely got a little weight to it. Yeah, I feel very secure, very protected.
So as you can tell, this one, you know, it's not as much protection with the newer ones, but
Yeah.
with less protection comes higher mobility. You know, it's a lot easier to run with, a lot easier to.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I can move pretty well right now. You know, definitely has some weight, but yeah.
So this is this what you wear on a normal basis if you're out in the field?
Yes. So depending on the field exercise, sometimes they don't want us to wear that. It may be too hot. But for the majority of the times, if we have to be in full gear, yeah, we'll wear that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's easy to say. It doesn't feel too bad. We're in air conditioning now, but I can only imagine, like, out in the desert somewhere with the blazing sun and the heat, and then having to move a lot.
So you're saying that's the newer version?
The newer version, yeah. So now what would come next after this?
So there, then you have the load carrier. You know, your load carrier, this would consist of basically everything that I would be wearing on a daily basis.
Now that's got all your clips and
Everything that the basic things I would need. The basic things I would need, and then from there you tighten it or you clip it in.
This clips together here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
we're getting serious now. Okay.
Normally you would zip
Wow.
you would zip it up, clip it in,
Uh-huh.
right? So
Oh,
everyone.
there's a zipper under here. I see. Yeah.
So you can adjust it back here to the person's, the
Gotcha,
how big the
canteen.
person. Ultimately, everyone is a little different. There's different ways you can set this up. You can set it up to where you zip the front up and the back. You can take this belt off from the back, so you can actually just clip it. You can use them as clips, so you don't necessarily have to zip it from the front. You can actually put stuff like right in the center of where the person is. It's all really dependent on the person.
So you got to just be able to know what's where and be able to get to it easily without.
Right, so the way they're facing, if I'm shooting, grab with my left hand, put it in, and bam, I don't have to fumble with it at all or anything.
Uh-huh.
But
now, do you wear a backpack on top of this?
Yeah, what comes next?
you would usually take a rucksack, something like this.
Does that go on top of this?
Yes. So, and this is, the minimum is 35 pounds. So, turn.
I'm gonna stand here.
In case I tip over.
It's a little heavy. With all the gear. Okay. How did they can you
It might be lopsided. just
Yeah.
When you're feeling it.
Okay.
But normally, I would, when I'm wearing it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna position everything in this bag to where I'm not leaning left or right. Right now it's loose.
She might fall backwards.
So what's gonna
So far,
happen?
so good.
So what's gonna happen? Right?
Yeah.
You grab this, grab right here, this little that little strap right there.
This
No, no,
one?
no. This one right here.
Okay.
I know it's a tiny strap,
Yep,
right?
got it.
Same thing with this arm. So I grab this one right here.
This one?
There you go.
Okay.
Right. And so what we would do, right? Because we have to put it on ourselves.
Okay.
Right? All this we have to put on ourselves. So
Yeah, you don't have the luxury of someone putting it on you.
not necessarily, not all the time. So
Yeah.
it's always good for the help. You lean forward
Yeah.
and you tighten it down.
I lost my strap. Okay.
So you tighten it down. When I say tighten it, all the way back. All the way
Look
back.
at that.
As
Okay.
far back.
Yeah.
And then lean up or go up.
Yeah.
Down higher.
Oh, look at that stuff. It's heavy.
You're ready for combat.
I am ready.
And then
So there's a quick release on this
like
if you need to get it off, right?
Yeah, well, these are also not just this vest, but the old vests have it too. They're the same system. The old vests have it. You pull the rank off, and all you would do. I wouldn't necessarily do it now.
Yeah.
So what you would do. So I would, if you were like shot, I can take this off you, and to get this off, I can pull it, and it disconnects the
here?
the clips from there and there. So
Oh,
I can
okay.
just, instead of having to pull it off you, I can just pull the front portion and take it off.
Oh, I gotcha.
So,
Okay.
so then this is your IFAC. It's an individual first aid kit. Everything in there would be, literally, it's like your own medical kit. They pull it out, and it comes with your basic medical.
Gotcha.
Right, everything, most of it's for like gunshot wounds.
And I'm only wearing this right now for a couple minutes. It would definitely weigh on me if I had to wear this like for 4 hours, or even what is a normal run.
Well, when we would go on a mission, we would
I
wake
can
up.
feel it on my back already.
We would wake up or we'd have to start mission around 6 in the morning, and we wouldn't come back until 7, 8 o'clock at night. My dad.
Hey man, what is this
on the ground.
you got fancy glasses in here? What the
Yeah,
hell?
I got to. I'm blind. None of you can like that. So I disinfected this. All right, so
Okay.
you're good.
So what do we have here?
So this is the gas mask that we usually use. It's right now. It's set. This is for vehicles, so we can actually talk. But normally you wouldn't have that on. You'd have it like this. It would be in a bag that you would carry on your waist, right? So if you had to, if they said gas, 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 open up the bag, pull it out. The reason why it's set like this is because it's ready to go. All you gotta do, squeeze against your face, pull it over,
back.
and then squeeze the straps. You put it against your face. When you put it against your face, bring this, put it over. Right? You put it over, and then you would take these straps, right there, right there and there, and you'd pull back. You'd pull back and tighten up. The way you know you have a good seal, right? The way you know you have a good seal is you take your hands, or someone else would take your hands, and breathe in. And if you feel it suction to your face, then that's how you know you have a good seal. But then that's how. And so think about it. You know, when you're running and you're doing everything,
Wow.
a lot of people say they can't breathe. You know, you're actually getting the same amount of air. It's just being restricted. And then to take it off, you just hold the clips or hold this, pull like that, and then pull out.
So to be having one of these and having to do combat even makes it more difficult than just having to wear this, put this on, and it seems like you guys carry just about everything to be out there that you just might need. Very interesting.
Wow, yeah.
All right, and we are back, and once again we're talking to Eddie, my nephew, and his wife Athena about being married in the military. So Athena, how does it feel now? Because you guys move around a lot, and off the top of your head, how many times have you moved already while you were in the military?
Let's see. Well, we lived in New Mexico, Georgia, and Hawaii. So Hawaii, we moved twice while in Hawaii. So
4 times.
yeah, about 4 times.
4 times. And how does that work? The military gives you an allowance either you have an option to live on the base or to find housing outside of the base, right?
Yeah. So when it comes to the moving, there's 3 ways you can do it. You can either the military will handle it, or you can move yourself, and you can partially move yourself and have the military do half of it. So split in half and half.
Well, I found it interesting because you took us to the base yesterday, and like I said, we've never really have done something like that before. And I have to say, it felt a little odd. It did. It felt like something we haven't really experienced before. We haven't driven through before. It almost felt like everything there was kind of staged. Like you weren't really in the United States. You have a commissary, right? You have a place that you can go shop. They have different type of. They have Burger King. They've got different places that you can eat at, and you don't really think that would be inside the base. And not everybody can get in the base. You have to show ID and be able to get in there. So I just found it just a little strange how that all works. And really because we're not used to it.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. It was a lot bigger than I thought it would be, and in some ways a little bit more normal because I didn't expect to see like fast food restaurants and things like that. But at the same time, it did have kind of that feeling of a very controlled environment.
Yes.
But it was interesting. I loved it. And thank you for showing us that as well.
We wouldn't have the opportunity otherwise.
Absolutely.
And what I thought also found interesting was that the housing is all by rank, right? So the higher rank you are, the bigger house you are given, which I thought was really interesting because you definitely see the difference.
You do. Yeah.
I mean, the commanders are in a really, really big house. And then what's the next level before that? Is it kind of
a lot of it goes to a lot of the commanders and higher ranking guys. They they've been in longer, so they have the bigger house. Most new soldiers, married or like with 1 or 2 kids or whatever. So you can just apply for regular. There's different types of housing. Everyone always is going to go for the newer housing.
Yes.
Right. Everyone. It's always.
And that's what we saw. We saw a newer version of houses and then older houses, and then you have the barracks, which is just those people that end up enlisting into the military and they're going through training or
the single.
They're single.
You're new and you're single,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's a lot of. Everyone to get on to especially if you're a new soldier, the newer housing, you have to get on a list, and usually the list is a lot longer because everyone wants new housing, of course. A lot of the old housing is, back in the 60s, 70s. So
there's not a whole lot of maintenance going on. I mean, when you look at the military base, but again, it's very interesting. You got all the machinery there, the tanks, the Hummers, everything. It's in there. You get to
pretty
get to
much
see that.
self-contained. Like everything that you would need is there. So you really wouldn't have to leave the base necessarily, right?
No, because there are bases like at Fort Irwin, which in White Sands where we were, where there's literally the closest town is maybe 20 minutes away. So they definitely try to have all of the necessities that you are going to need there. That way you don't have to drive outside of town to, go get Burger King or go shopping or go grocery shopping.
Now, somebody that's going into the military, what is boot camp like?
It's the biggest thing. Don't go expecting you're gonna get your way. Don't go expecting that everything's gonna be simple. I'm not saying it's hard. Physically, I don't think it's they've really lightened up over the years. It's a lot different from what was Vietnam and Korean War, even World War II. It's a lot different. But I think overall it's the mental aspect. When I went to basic training, you still have the tough guys that trying to prove themselves and everything like that. And some of those guys were the guys that actually broke down in tears, and a lot of it is just because you can't go anywhere, So when you see videos online, when you see videos of basic training, you're seeing, them doing the obstacle course, them doing the obstacle course, them doing like at the ranges, things like that. But what you never see is the downtime, right?
Yeah.
And that's what kills, because once you're done with the training, you come back in the barracks, and they'll tell you to study. Study your military things. Keep studying.
Not a whole lot to do.
Exactly. Even on like Saturdays, or I think in basic training you only have 1 day off in basic training. So you're still training on Saturdays, but Sundays they give soldiers time in the morning to actually go to like churches, and 'cause there's a bunch of all sorts of religions they offer on post, so they're allowed to go there. And I think for me, at first I didn't go to basic training, or I didn't go to the church. I'm not a really big religious guy, so I didn't go to church, and I figured out that was like the worst thing, because if you don't go to church, you stay in the barracks, and you can't leave.
Gives you something to do.
Exactly, you can't leave the barracks at all. And so I wasn't really big religious, and so I just said, why not? Let's go to Buddhism.
Yeah.
And so I went to a Buddhist church.
But it's not always the physical part of it that ends up breaking you down. Sometimes it's the mental part of it that gets to you. Yeah, and I can totally understand that.
But it's really cool. It's really cool though, because he does travel a lot for work, and deploying and stuff like that. So him going to like a Buddhist church and stuff like that, it's because he's curious about culture, and he loves seeing how different like America is in that from like Korea or China or something like that. So it's just a whole.
It's always good to be open up to things, whether you're gonna follow that or what have you. But it's always good to listen and get different ideas. And, your way of living is not the only way of living, is what I always think. So,
yeah.
Do you have questions you'd like to ask?
What have you found to be the most challenging? Because you have very different experiences of this life that you share, but for each of you, what has been the most challenging?
Okay. You go first. Why not?
Me first. Okay.
You won't get in trouble this time. You'll hear what she says, and then you'll bounce back.
You can't just say same, because
No.
You can't say ditto.
For me, honestly, most people have problems like with deployments and things like that, and it does suck because I miss him terribly, but I think the worst thing for me would be when he's here, because of the fact he does so much. It's absolutely ridiculous, because he's an amazing person, and like the stuff he does is, oh my gosh, sorry.
Okay.
Wow. So okay, hold on.
All right.
That's okay.
Well, he's very dedicated, and
Yeah.
you must be like really proud of what he
I
does.
am.
Not only as what he does in the military, but also as a
husband. Yeah. Sorry.
I'll go. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Take a drink. And what was that saying yesterday that you told us when we went through the base? I was trying to remember something on the Marne.
Oh, Rock the Marne?
Rock of the Marne.
Yeah. Top of the rock.
Top of the rock. There you go.
So as you were saying,
Okay,
things
so,
that he does, and how do you feel?
He does so much, not just like for me and our family and stuff like that, but he has a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And because of that responsibility, I never know when he's going to come home. And so our time that we have together is very, very limited, and it sucks, because we definitely enjoy spending time with each other. And, you know, there's days like today where, you know, he had to go into work and it's Sunday, and, you know, or he works on like a weekend or whatever. And everything is just kind of up in the air when it comes to this. I'm extremely lucky to have him as my husband because he actually wants to talk to me and, you know, see how I'm doing, and we'll spend basically hours, you know, talking. And I'm extremely lucky that he does that.
So
Okay,
you,
so you're not getting off the hook too easy. So what's been challenging for you?
Things being away. You know, I'm a big family man. You know, even though like just me and her and our 2 dogs, you know, they're my family. You know, she's my wife, and I treat them like I see them as my kids. You know, and I think the big thing is just being away, just in general. Even if it's for training, there's been times where I remember in Hawaii, I remember calling her and I was like, I'm so done. I'm done. I think I told her that every time. I tell her, I'm just done with the military. I'm done. You're out there. It's raining. You can't get out of the rain, you know. So you're embracing the suck essentially.
Yeah, because you're telling me like
Or trying to anyway.
you were telling me that you go out in the woods, right, to do training, and this is like overnight, couple days, and you're in the middle of nowhere, and either you're on post and you're just standing there, and it could be raining, it could be snowing or whatever. You're put out there to see what you can handle, right? Yeah.
So for instance, like tomorrow I have to be at our motor pool where all the vehicles are. I have to be there at 4 a.m, and I'm gonna be out. Somewhere in the woods out there from the 5th to about the 8th.
Yeah. So it could be hot as hell, or it could be raining. So
whatever
it is.
Whatever it is, just we're out there, and it's.
Man,
I
that's
think
brutal.
it's difficult, you know, because it's just.
And you're not talking about, hey, you know, when we go hiking or whatever, you're in shorts, you're in a t-shirt. You're talking about full military gear, right?
Or when we get tired, we say, you know what, let's head back. We've had enough. You know, you can't do that. I mean, you know, that's huge.
It's mostly, like in those instances, you know, like you can't just be, you know, no matter how much you just want to be like, all right, let's just stop this, you know, you gotta keep going. When you're out there, there's no getting out of the rain, you know, there's no getting out. You're waiting for your next order, you know, or like if we're training, you know, we conduct the training, we do the training. Hey, we're coming back on the 8th. Guess what? That's your timeline. You know, you're just counting down the days till the 8th, and then you can go back home.
So, you know, it's like almost like vacation, right? You're thinking of, you're going on vacation in 2 months. And those 2 months, knowing that it's going to be 2 months, it just seems like it drags.
An
and it takes
eternity
forever
to get there. Yeah.
So if I was I'd do the same thing. I don't want to know what time it is, what day it is. When the day comes, it comes, and I'm ready to go. When you were out in the field, and so you were in Bradley's, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you were doing, you know, out in the road and what have you, how did you feel? Because like every moment you would have to think, man, this could be it. This is my last, you know, time, or, you know, could get hit at any time with a bomb or what have you. How did you feel about that? Because that to me would be like nerve-wracking.
It definitely is. Well, we went to Afghanistan. We had buffaloes, huskies, and RGs, and you know, if you can look at that, type that stuff on Google, and it'll pop up what it is on images, kind of thing. But usually, you know, it's day at a time, just one day at a time, because like before mission, you know, one of our soldiers, or one of my friends, he you know, religious guy, so we would all, you know, get in this group or get in a circle and start praying, and he would do a prayer before we got on mission, and then we'd go. You didn't know what to expect, you know, you really don't know what to expect every time.
Yeah, it's always different.
so over there, what keeps you on your toes is because you can go on for every, let's say like 15, 20 missions, nothing will happen. The enemy doesn't fire at you. You don't get no IEDs or anything like that. And then there's just that one day out of nowhere that just, either all hell breaks loose or, you get hit by an IED. So it does keep you on your toes. There's been a lot of times, there's been a lot of times where, I'd be driving, when I deployed to Afghanistan, for half of it I was a driver, and then the other half I was a dismount, so the guy on the ground. And I remember driving down, and there'd be like there'd be like a random tree in the road, right? And Taliban, what they can do is use that as an aiming stake, right? So they'd be off like in the far distance, and all they need is binoculars, right? They know where they planted the bomb, so they use that tree as an aim point, right? Gotcha. So when you pass that tree, it helps them, like hit the target better or hit us better. Right. And so there'd be like a random tree in the middle of the, of the desert. Thinking. Your butt puckers kind of thing, and you're just, ooh, okay, we're good.
Yeah, like bracing yourself, wow.
So,
yeah. Well, for all of the challenges, that you do face and handle, it seems like you handle them well. But what do you find to be the most rewarding?
I don't know. The thing about it, I never really thought about the rewarding part of it. Honestly, it's probably it is the traveling. I gotta say, personally, being able to. One of the reasons why, when we got married, I was excited. Because I used to go on trips at White Sands. I used to go on trips by myself in the car and everything. And don't get me wrong, it was fun. I definitely enjoyed myself. Seeing new things, whatever. And but it's always better sharing the experience with someone. And so actually, when we got married, being able to actually go different places, going to Hawaii, hopefully another country. Soon, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about people, right, that always look at the hard or negative things in their life, right? And if they kind of forget about that and think about the good things in their life, right? So, in doing that, what do you have to look forward to?
I say, okay.
No, go ahead.
Personally, for me, a lot of times it's just the little things in life, because I can look forward. I look forward to going to Colorado. Especially since that's like a for sure thing in the near future. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, because you're going to be stationed there now.
Yeah, but I mean, day by day though, I look forward just on personally the weekend. I'm constantly Monday through Friday. Sometimes the weekend. So whenever they're like. They tell us that we have the weekend. I'm more than excited, just because I don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. and
You can relax.
Yeah.
You find yourself sleeping later, or do you still wake up at the same time?
I wouldn't say the same time, but I find myself still waking up around like 7, 8 o'clock.
Get a little bit of a rest.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's personally for me. I just. Like I said, I try to look at the little things, because there's so many, I would say negatives, but hardships that come with this job. It's a lot of
sacrifice, right? For both of you. Yeah.
For me, it would be the traveling and the people that we meet, because I mean, the military really isn't all that different from the civilian world. I mean, people are people, no matter what they are. But then you find these incredible people that you build relationships with. And for those 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, however long you're at that place, you basically find your tribe. And when you leave them, that that is hard. But at the same time, like you literally make incredible memories, and you get to hear so many different stories and hear where people come from. And so for me, it would be besides this lovely one right here, it would be, you know, the experiences that we have.
I have a friend, you know, shout out Staley.
Hey.
If you're watching, watching the channel,
But,
and if you are watching, be a subscriber.
But you know, me and him don't talk as much anymore. You know, he after White Sands, you know, he went to Alaska, I went to Hawaii. You know, from there, he followed his dream, and now he's a firefighter for the state of Ohio. You know, and even though me and him, we don't talk as much or a lot at all, just because I'm working so much, he's working so much. I would do anything for him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, make sure you send them the link.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear
Send them
that.
to link. It's a good opportunity to reconnect. But, well, did you have anything else?
Nope.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I don't think so.
I think what you guys are doing is completely awesome.
We
By
were
the
trying.
way.
We're
trying.
We're making a go of it.
We don't know where it's gonna all end up, and it doesn't really matter. We do a lot of things for memories, and I think we have the opportunity to do things that we've always wanted to do, and it's not a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just putting it out there and seeing if people will tune in and check it out, and if not, it is what it is. But we're interested in talking to regular people about what's going on in their lives, and we find it interesting, and I'm sure there's a group out there that will find it interesting as well. So
Yeah, we're going to end it with the cheers.
Thank you guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
for talking to us.
And really a special thank you
Yes.
to you and Eddie, because sharing with us that you don't get a lot of time off and you look forward to those weekends, to have shared a weekend off with us makes us feel very special. So thank you. Okay, did you check the room and everything?
Yep. All good.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you.
Thank you so much for letting us into your home. You're so gracious.
Wherever we are, you guys are seriously. Seriously, wherever we are, you guys are more than welcome to come and visit.
And wherever we are, visit us.
Yes, absolutely.
Have so much fun.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for everything. Oh, thank you for having us. Oh, I wish you guys were here.
Y'all got everything?
Yep.
Well,
All right, guys. Love you both, and thank
Yes,
you,
love
man.
you both.
And hopefully it won't be that long, man, before we see you guys again. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, guys.
Drive safe.
All right, man.
Remember, go straight. Okay.
It's always good seeing you, man. Stay humble.